Hey guys, Josh from Sportitude here, and it is shoe review time, and we're talking all things Adrenaline 20. This shoe here, phenomenal update, a lot to talk about. Inside this shoe, we'll cover everything in regards to the outsole, the midsole, and the upper, and even talk about the widths of this shoe as well. Without further ado, let's get stuck in. So first things first, I'll hold up the men's width colour here and the ladies' width colour here. So what Brooks have done in the past, and they will continue to do, there will be a number of different colour options in the Adrenaline 20 going forward. So we'll put a link to our Sportitude page for the Adrenalines underneath this video, so you can take you through and see all the colours on offer in the first half of 2020. But obviously talking about the widths, because this is probably the biggest point of difference of this shoe. So we'll talk men's first. Men's, we start from a B, which is narrow, it goes to a D, which is standard, then we're talking 2E and 4E. 4 widths on offer in that shoe is insane, so that's fantastic. I love brands that call out widths. Women's, we've got here a 2A on offer, which is narrow, then we go to a B, then we go to a D, which is a wee bit wider, and then the extra wide 2E. Again, 4 widths on offer through here. So that for me tells a big story. When a brand is going to make 4 widths in a specific shoe, they are basically investing a lot of money, time, effort, engineering into ensuring that they can cater for almost every width of foot type out there that should fall into this specific support category. Now on that, who should be running in an Adrenaline 20? Now, with the guide rails technology, and I'll talk about that in 2 ticks, we're talking a runner that has a slight overpronation through mid-stance. Now that is for the runner that comes down on the heel, goes through to mid-stance, and we see a slight little tilt towards that medial side before they then go through to the forefoot to toe off. Okay, so we're talking a little bit of collapse through that arch area through mid-stance. Now that's going to be the case for your heel strikers, and then the occasional midfoot runner could also consider the Adrenaline 20 if they're just seeking a little bit more stability through the medial section as well. Cool, so let's talk all things outsole. So I'll grab the ladies one here and we'll cover the outsole. And I'm just going to do a little bit of comparison to where it was or where it's come from, the Adrenaline 19 as well. So looking at the outsole, the great thing about it is it's not an overcomplicated outsole. You've got your harder wearing rubber in that heel strike zone through here, and then you've got a slightly lighter but softer rubber through the forefoot to just provide a little bit of propulsion or extra propulsion on toe off. Looking at the flexibility through the forefoot, we've got 2 full flex screws across the horizontal line through there, and a little slit through here, which is just on line with almost your metatarsal heads. So you can get a nice little bit of flexibility through that forefoot when you're toeing off. However, you can see on the outsole on the medial side through here, it's encapsulated. So it's going to give that first, or your big toe, a little bit of extra support just to hold its place in the last phase of your gait cycle. It has that full ground contact look and feel to it. So again, as I touched on before, if you happen to be a midfoot runner, you're going to like this shoe because it's got a nice plush purchase with the ground through here. Okay, rightio then, we're going to talk all things midsole. Now there's a bit to cover through here because guide rails was new last year, and they've done a little alteration with how they've executed it inside the Adrenaline 20. All right, so I'm going to grab the Adrenaline 19 here from last year. This happens to be a lady's colour. So with the midsole, first things first, you can talk about the crash pad area. So they've got DNA loft in that first point of contact to the ground for your heel strikers. So that's your Adrenaline 19 there. Nothing's changed in regards to where they've put the crash pad in the Adrenaline 20, obviously catering for that heel striker. Where most of the changes, all the change, in the midsoles come from, I shouldn't say all, 90% of the change, sorry, is in how they've executed the guide rails inside this shoe. Now, they've gone with a co-bonded moulding setup. So what that essentially means is, instead of having a midsole, like they've done with the Adrenaline 20, and then they've strategically placed guide rail on the lateral side, base of the heel, and then guide rail on the medial side through here, and then glued and set them into the midsole. They've gone with the same mould in the Adrenaline 20. So essentially got the one piece where the guide rails sits on the lateral side through here, and it gives a little bit of extra support down towards the forefoot. Not so much on the lateral side, but on the medial side you can see here, the guide rails sits nicely bonded into the midsole and gives a little bit of extra support as you come through to your forefoot or your toe off phase of your gait cycle. Now, it's a different take on the traditional dual density support that we've seen for 20 plus years in running shoes, where they've just placed a medial block inside the shoe. I am a real believer that this shoe is going to cater quite well for the mild overpronator. Now, no surprises here. Last year, or the year with the Adrenaline 19, there was a percentage of runners that have been traditional adrenaline users for years. They've tried the Adrenaline 19 and it just did not feel the same. What they then had to do was look laterally and jump into another lane and look at another brand. Now, what Brooks probably identified before they released the Adrenaline 19, and obviously same sort of discussions would have been around the Adrenaline 20, lose and gain. They gain more runners by executing the guide rail technology because there's this sort of grey area between stable neutral and sort of mildly supported shoes, and that's where this shoe sits right in the middle. So it's almost a neutral fit and feel, but it caters for a mild overpronator, and that's where the vast majority of runners sit right into that silo. So that's why this shoe is fantastic, and it fits a great percentage of runners that are looking for a little bit of support but don't want to overcomplicate it with too much support and weight on that medial side. Let's talk about the upper now, because there's quite a bit of change in the upper. Not so much in regards to the look and execution, but in regards to the medial side, it's going to be really hard with the black Adrenaline. That's my bad, I'm so sorry. I'll put that down, but on the medial side through here, you can see this extra support and these overlays through here. So therefore, catering for that mild overpronator through mid stance, the guide rail will do its thing underneath the foot. However, the upper can play a really key role in keeping the foot nice and stable. I'll step back a bit, sorry. Where it's going to hold the foot in nice and strong on that medial side with that little overlay technology. And the execution of the upper is really nice too. Nice and strong stitching, however lightweight, plenty of breathability through the upper as well. The tongue is nice and light, doesn't sit too high, doesn't sit too low, perfectly placed, and obviously plenty of breathability through the top there as well. One call out which I'd like to highlight is the little overlays in the tongue, which Brooks have got in a number of their shoes. It just helps keep the tongue in a nice central position. I'm sure there's people out there watching this video that have had their tongue drop down to the lateral side before, usually because the tongue is a little bit offset to how your foot sits inside the shoe and can drop to that lateral side. The Brooks Adrenaline keeps it nice and central with the little stitched eyelets for the laces that go through there. Internal heel counter at the back, which is great. So inside this shoe through here, you've got a nice strong heel counter, which is going to give plenty of support and stability for that heel striker coming down. So of course, the amount of force putting through the base of your heel is going to be higher for a heel striker. Therefore, the calcaneus or the heel support is vitally important to keep that foot locked in a really good fixed position. Wrapping up the Adrenaline 20, it's a fantastic new execution on a very, very popular model, the Adrenaline family. Really keen to see how this one sort of presents to customers in store, of course, and see if they're sort of finding much of a change from the Adrenaline 19 to the Adrenaline 20. I personally didn't find a huge difference. If anything, I really liked the lighter feel inside this shoe. So it felt lighter on my foot. It ran a little bit lighter. Still the 12mm heel to toe offset, which is nice. But the shoe itself, lovely new addition. Can't wait to start selling it. So all in all, could be a shoe for you. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to our channel already, please do hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments on this video, drop them in the comment section below. Until next time, happy running. See you soon.